What is going on, everybody? Today we are analyzing the tape of defensive tackle Mazi Smith, who in my opinion has come a long way since we first checked in on him in the preseason. I remember watching the Seahawks tape in the preseason and watching Smith not do things we saw him do at Michigan. He wasn't able to fight through the hooks, he wasn't able to fight off reach blocks, he wasn't able to really hold his ground. But come week 2, just a couple weeks later, the guy looks a lot more comfortable. And today we're going to analyze this guy's tape because there's a lot of plays like this where technically Smith is not going to do anything from a statistical standpoint. He's not going to do absolutely anything. But what Dan Quinn wants him to do in this defense, he does. And what Dan Quinn wants him to do is Dan Quinn wants him to hold the blocks. He wants Mazi Smith to hold as much ground as he possibly can. And in this play, you're going to get a double team by the guard and tackle. And the tackle's job is to make sure that this guard is able to fully hook off Mazi Smith. And once the tackle helps that guard, the tackle has to get up to the inside linebacker. And in this instance, Smith's going to blow up that guard and the tackle has to stick with Smith just a little bit too long. And Leighton Vander Esch goes free. Number 55 is going to go free because of number 58. Mazi Smith does a fantastic job holding that block there. The tackle recognizes this pretty quickly that the guard's going to be put into a bad spot. And if you guys look at Smith, great job with the hands. He's going to toss the guard to the side, as you guys can see right there. And this guard's going to be in a really bad position within this play. So the tackle has to stick with Smith a little bit longer. He needs to make sure the guard can really make the ground back up to get in a good position. But as the tackle sticks to Smith just a little bit longer, the inside linebacker is going to fill the gap. And to me, this is because of Smith. Now within this play, the cornerback has to set the edge. In this instance, he's too slow to react. And you can see that the running back ultimately just hits this to the outside. But this one's not because Mazi Smith doesn't do his job. This one's not because Vander Esch doesn't fill his gap. This is because the corner doesn't step up fast enough. And this happens from time to time, not a big deal. But I did want to point this play out because I think with Mazi Smith, there are only 29 snaps that he's played this season so far. So it's a very limited amount of snaps. And for us, we're going to overanalyze the crap out of every single one of his reps. Let's get into the next snap. Alrighty guys, check this next play out. You got a quarterback sneak. Smith's going to be right in the middle. He's going to play that nose position. And ultimately, the defense is going to get off the field on this one. This was 3rd and 1 here. And in my opinion, I think a big part of this play is the fact that Mazi Smith is going to once again get the double team between the center and left guard. And with that, you get another defensive tackle here who basically is going to be able to jump that gap. So to me, this is a great job. Mazi Smith doesn't make the play, right? But again, he's playing his role. This isn't Mazi Smith. This would be another defensive lineman. And that defensive lineman may get pushed a little bit faster. He may get pushed back a little bit quicker. But ultimately, within this play, Smith does a nice enough job where on 3rd and 1, he takes on the double team. And someone else is able to kind of get in there and make the play. Not a big deal. Just wanted to point it out. 3rd and 1. He does help get the defense off the field. So one of the things with Smith that I've known from watching his tape in college is he's a very smart football player and he recognizes things fairly quickly. And I think that was going to be one of the big things for him. How soon is he able to start to process and recognize certain things? Like, for example, when they run screens underneath you, when they're trying to get you to get upfield. And in this instance, you can tell he recognizes this play. He's going to turn his body towards the running back. Now, would he have made the play? I don't know. But what I do know is within this play here, Smith does do a good job at least recognizing and processing that the screen is coming underneath him. And with that, he's going to turn and run towards the guy that is screening. And you see an offensive lineman who probably should be downfield blocking, having to pick off Mazi Smith. And I show you guys that very last play there of him recognizing the screen because on this next play here, he does the same exact thing. But on this next one, he does an even better job. I know in the very first clip that I showed you guys, he technically didn't get there 100%. A guy was still able to kind of pick him off. But on this one, he was 100% there. And you can see he's going to find the running back. And the quarterback's looking to possibly throw the ball. But Smith is right there on top of the running back. So to me, again, Mazi Smith is starting to recognize and read these little things. Mazi Smith's starting to understand the flow of things. He's starting to understand when guys are letting him go. And Micah Parsons here gets the sack. This was one of the 2 sacks that Parsons got. And again, I know statistically Smith is going to get 0 credit for a sack. He's not going to get a quarterback hit, a sack. He's not going to get a run stop. But what he does get is he gets a pat on the back by Dan Quinn for doing his job. And I think ultimately that is what matters more than anything else. To me, this is a great play right here by Smith. Alrighty guys, check this play out. Smith has the A gap here. He cannot let this center get to the right side of him. This is going to be a pitch to the right, so it's a wide zone to that side. And to me, Smith does a pretty nice job fighting through this block. A play that comes to mind against the Seattle Seahawks is a play in which the center was able to reach him, and the play ended up popping for like 30 yards. So it's this very, very key part of Smith developing. You can see it. He's starting to get used to the game speed a little bit. On this one, you got to double him for the center to be able to kind of get out in front of him. But he does a nice job, again, fighting through that block. As the play goes, he's going to be able to readjust himself and get back to the inside. So to me, I like the hands here. Right hand to the inside, and then within the play, he's going to toss the center over to the side, and he's able to kind of get back over into this run fit. So to me, this is a good job by Smith to kind of fight through that reach block. Again, slow improvements. Right, it's part of developing, and I think over the next 4 to 8 weeks, we're gonna start to see that Smith is gonna be able to jump this gap, or he's gonna figure out how to make sure that as he gets out of his stance, he gets out a little bit quicker. He knows where his hands will ultimately land to fight through these things. It's a pretty nice job right there. Of course, this is a play in which Michael Parsons strips the ball, runs it back for a touchdown. Unfortunately, he was touched, so the touchdown doesn't count, but still great play by Parsons. Let's get into the next rep. So of course, the big improvements we need to see from Mazi Smith is to really develop the hand-to-hand pass rush technique. Get a lot better with the hands and not just collapsing the pocket. Collapsing the pocket's one thing, but I need to see this defensive tackle to start to swipe, to chop, double hand punch, turn power to speed, speed to power. I need to see more from him when it comes to the pass rush, because that's ultimately where defensive linemen make their money. And I know Mazi Smith wasn't necessarily brought in to pass rush, especially early on in his career, but that doesn't mean Cowboys don't want him to ultimately develop that, right? Because that's what Mazi Smith was brought in for, to develop into that. Of course, he's a raw football player, great power, great strength, but development's going to be a key thing here for Smith. Let's get into the next rep. Alrighty guys, so Mazi Smith only played on 11 snaps in week 2, so not a whole lot of snaps. Honestly, there were only 4 run snaps. 7 of them were pass rush situations. But I do want to switch focus and get into the Giants game, because I think Smith had a pretty good game against the Giants as well. So we're going to go ahead and start with this first play here. This is the power run to the right. Left guard's going to pull. Center has to cover that left guard. So the center has to block Mazi Smith. And once again, you're going to see a little bit of power from Smith on this one. Kind of similar to how he's been able to kind of fight through some of these run reps from that Jets game. You see on this one, he's going to do a great job with the power. So in this play, the only thing he can really do, because it is a power run and all this guy's really doing is just backside blocking, guard and tackle are really pulling. The only thing Smith can really do is push this guy back and try to close the gap. And he does a pretty good job. You can see him pushing number 61 backwards. Yeah, technically he doesn't make the play, but just thinking about where 61 actually makes contact with Smith here relative to where 61 kind of ends up, to me, 61 ends up about 2 to 3 yards backwards. So that's a good job by Smith trying to close that gap. Again, every single defensive player has a run fit, and always keep that in mind. So it's not 100% up to Mazi Smith to make every single play. Right? He just has to do his job within the scheme. Pretty nice job right there to kind of show off that power. Let's go ahead and get into the next rep. So Smith is going to get double teamed on this one. This is part of what I want to see him develop more so on, right? He's going to try to swim over the top of the center on that one. Again, part of what I want Smith to develop is the hand-to-hand pass rush technique. So this right here is what I want to see more of. Within this play, you're going to see him get the hands on the guard first. The guard's going to ultimately double, exchange, and then help out the left tackle. But as Smith recognizes the exchange happening, look at him pull down 61 and try to swim over the top right there. It's not very effective. But these are the reps that are going to make a guy better. These are the things that will make Mazi Smith a lot better over time. It's a pretty nice job with the hands. Let's get into the next rep. Check this play out. Smith's going to do a pretty nice job slanting to the inside. He's going to beat number 68 on this one. Pretty nice job. Now, of course, as you guys see, the quarterback does drop the ball. Now, if the quarterback doesn't drop the ball, I wouldn't have been surprised if Smith ends up blowing up this play. And this would have been the clip that everybody would have talked about. You can see that number 68 is going to take a step to the left. Smith's going to slant towards the inside and Number 68 basically misses the right punch right there. He's going to try to land the right arm. It doesn't land. Smith gets around that. And 68, you can tell, is about to look into the backfield here. Look at this. 68's going to miss. He's going to almost turn his head right there to look at the defensive tackle. But regardless, Smith's able to get around that. He gets into the backfield. And 26 does not want any of this. Look at him get out of the way on that one. Saquon Barkley saw exactly who was coming at him. Kind of backed off that one. It's a great job. I like the fact that he tried punching the ball out as well as he was getting to the quarterback. Because focus in on the right hand. He's going to get that right hand up and he's going to try to knock the ball out. It's a pretty nice job right there. It's a smart football play. Let's go ahead and get into the next rep. Alright, you guys, check this next rep out. You got Mazi Smith, who's really playing in that 3 technique. He's going to do a pretty damn good job, if you guys ask me, getting off the blocks. He's going to do a pretty nice job beating the left guard on this one. This play is kind of interesting because Daniel Jones is going to end up keeping the ball. Now, this is a read option. But based off the read, I'm not 100% sure exactly why he didn't hand the football off here. Doesn't make sense because you have so many guys way out here that are basically going to make the tackle on you as the quarterback. But you can see he decides to keep the ball. He only picks up about a yard on this one. But he should have handed the football off in my opinion. Now, if he did hand the football off within this play, check out what Mazi Smith would have done. Smith would have basically blown up this entire play. As he gets past the first guy, he really resets the line here. And to me, if Saquon Barkley had the football, Mazi Smith would have been right there. Regardless, really, really nice rep by Smith. He does win this rep. And this is part of what makes a guy a good football player. This is part of developing, right? Learning how to get off blocks, learning how to beat blocks, learning how to move as guys are down blocking, as guys are trying to reach, and all the different things that NFL offensive linemen try to do. Mazi Smith just has to continue to learn and continue to develop on how to beat those blocks. Watch the power on this one by Smith. He's going to go right through that right guard. The right guard's going to end up falling. It's a pretty nice job. Obviously, Smith is known primarily for his bull rush, and this is the type of power he has. Now, I do think the guard may have slipped on the running back's foot. He may have stepped on it. But the Cowboys defensive tackle here still shows off that power, right? He shows off that physicality to get into a guy's chest plates and absolutely drive him backwards. It's a pretty nice rep right there. Let's get into the next snap. Alrighty guys, let's go ahead and wrap this video up with the final clip here. So you're going to see Smith going to get double teamed on this one, and he's really not going to be able to do much. But you do see Golston end up winning and getting the sack here. This is just another part of Smith's game that he's going to have to continue to work on. He's going to get a lot of double teams. He's going to get a lot of chip blocks. He's going to get a lot of these exchanges where the guard's going to hit, pass him off to the center, and then get back out towards the tackle. And Smith just has to continue to develop. He has to continue to take that next step. And you can kind of see that in weeks 1 and 2, he looked a little bit more comfortable than he did back in preseason. And if he just continues on this pace by week 10, he'll actually be taking 20 to 25 snaps for the Cowboys, in my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a quick one. Just wanted to do a quick check-in on Smith and kind of what he showed us over the first couple of games. Keep in mind, he only played in 29 snaps, so it's not a whole lot of snaps. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I will see you guys next time with another video.